good evening and welcome to today's edition of CERN Alumni News from the Lab. This is a series where we open CERN's doors to you so you can find out more about the huge variety of groundbreaking work that's going on here. I'm Rachel, Head of Alumni Relations, and I'm joined by my marvelous Alumni Relations colleagues Simona Kriva and Yana Petrova. Now, today we're thrilled to host our colleagues from the CERN and Society Foundation. And the timing is great as they've just launched their most recent fundraising campaign. But don't worry, you can donate all year round to help science change the world. And you're going to find out all about that shortly. But first, I'd like to introduce you all to our moderator, who is CERN alumna Benedetta Nirta. So Benedetta is the fundraising manager at the Hepatitis Fund. Previously, she was in charge of individual giving at CERN, where she initiated CERN's entire philanthropic operation from individual donors and also managed the digital fundraising and communications area. In 2018, Benedetta was named one of the 12 most innovative Italian fundraisers by Vita magazine and has accumulated many years of experience as a board member for local NGOs. Benedetta holds a master in fundraising for non-for-profit and public organizations and a master in international relations and diplomatic studies from the University of Bologna. Benedetta, thank you so much for being here with us today. I hand over to you.
Thank you very much, Rachel, for the great introduction. I'm always a bit shy, but I'm very proud and very, very honored to have been chosen to moderate this conversation. As you said, the CERN Society Foundation has been part of my life for a long time, and I'm proud to be able to continue spreading the message now that I'm an alumni. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Pascal Roy. Pascal has been for the last years the head of partnerships and fundraising unit at CERN, and she is secretary to the board of the CERN Society Foundation. Prior to this, she has decades of experience as HR and leadership management, and she's full of energy. You'll see. I've worked with Pascal for many years, and I couldn't have been happier she's now today presenting us the CERN Society Foundation, which is reaching the 10th year of activity. Pascal, please take it over.
Thank you, Benedetta. And as you just mentioned, it's actually extremely nice to have you moderate these sessions. And I'm actually very honored to be given the privilege to speak about the foundation. It's not that often that we do have that opportunity. And the first slide that I decided to show you would be that picture of young people, because what the foundation is doing is really focusing on youth and education, and particularly on STEM. And the type of people you have on the screen are actually the young people we welcome at CERN regularly. My talk will be about presenting the foundation to all of you. I will go a little bit of detail about the different programs, because I do believe this is what is of interest to you all. But I will also cover some information about impact and about maybe what we would like to do in the future. I guess we're going to stay together approximately 20 minutes. So about the foundation, as Benedetta just mentioned, we will soon celebrate its 10th year anniversary. We were created in 2014. And the beauty of this foundation is that it does operate internationally. It's really there to support and promote the mission of CERN, the work that CERN does, and everything that we do is related to CERN. We would not exist without CERN. The foundation was actually founded in 2014 by the former DG. So when I say that, you can already understand that, in fact, it is an initiative that was decided by the senior management. We also had the spokesperson from Atlas, and we had at the time, a person who since then has become a dame because she's a UK national, and it's Dame Richard. So this being said, I am going to move to the next slide, which is really about the mission of the foundation. As I said, we are the philanthropic arm of CERN. We are doing things that CERN could not do. And CERN is about science. It's about scientific curiosity. And what the foundation is doing, it's taking that mission and it's making the bridge with the society. And what we want is to inspire young people. We not only want to inspire them, but we also want to work for their benefit. The focus is education and youth, and what you can see on that slide are the 3 pillars that guide our work: education and outreach, innovation and knowledge exchange, culture and creativity. How do we do all of that? Well, our first activity is, of course, to fundraise. But before we fundraise, we first need to communicate. We first need to establish a link with all of you. And those who are not yet, I would say, our followers are most welcome to become so. So when we do fundraising, we actually contact individuals, we contact foundations, or we contact corporates. Corporates means companies. The impact that we have at the moment, and I think it's always been the case, Benedetta would be most welcome to say the contrary if she wants, or to give more information, because she has been in that foundation for more than I have been myself. So the age group of the beneficiaries, as you can see, is really the age from 14 to 19 years old. I mean, they are really our primary audience, which is the reason why we try to work more and more with social media and digital communication. But we also have people who are a bit more senior. And in fact, what is interesting is that our ambition is to extend that portion of population who today is maybe not that sensitive to what we do. The second perspective that I chose to show you here is also the impact of the fundraising that we do. We have, as I said, on the right-hand side of the slide, education and outreach, then innovation, knowledge and exchange, culture and creativity. And you can see that little 3% globe and science of innovation. This has been the case so far, but as you know, we have inaugurated the Science Gateway, which means that that 3% will most probably turn into education or innovation or culture. Again, if in the title you see that we excluded the Science Gateway, it's because the Science Gateway has been a project of the foundation, but it's also been a little bit of an independent animal, if you want, because clearly we needed far more funds to finance the construction of the Science Gateway than what we need for these different domains. When we talk about education and outreach, we talk about Beamline for School competition, Sparks, non-member state summer students program, and national teacher program, and I will cover these into a bit more detail. When we talk about innovation and knowledge exchange, we have Zenodo, KiCad, CERN Medicis, and we have another 2 projects that have not yet started, but I will also cover very briefly. Culture and creativity, this is, I would say, the exotic piece of our work. It's really about having either residencies or productions or exhibitions that will show how physics looks through the lenses of artists. And again, I will go into that a bit further in more details. So let's start with education outreach. I told you this was the focus of the foundation. And this is also the pillar in which we have most of our programs. And let's start with the Beamline for School competition. That is, I would say, the program that interests our youngest, youngest students. You have to reflect that in a continuum. We have the Beamline for Schools competition, then we will have the non-member state summer student programs, and then a PhD. So let's start with the beginning. this is a fantastic program. Why? Because first, it does not look at individuals per se, but at teams. When you are 16 years old and that you prepare for this competition, of course, it would be very difficult to come on your own, because you may also come from a non-member state, from a country that is far from Switzerland. So we thought, I mean, not me, but with people who created this program, thought that maybe having a collective approach would be very interesting. So it was decided to look at high school students. And the idea is to bring those high school students to CERN, to give them that opportunity to come, work, talk, exchange, feel the CERN atmosphere, feel the CERN life. And we also have realized, and that's why probably education and outreach is the pillar that concerns most this foundation. It's because if you want to spread, to inspire people, to motivate them, you need to start at a young age. So starting with teenagers in a way was a very good start. So what is this program? This program is about coming to CERN, is about having all your fees, I mean, travel, accommodation, and meals covered by the foundation. Usually people come for a period of about 10 days. They have an incredible experience. They can actually sometimes relate to Nobel Prizes who are on the premises, and they really get the feel, the motivation, the inspiration to become the engineers, the physicists, or the scientists of tomorrow. You have some figures about the impact we had in 2022. And I can tell you that this is really a powerful program because we touch a lot of young people. The next program is the non-member state summer student program. So now we look at a different age. We will look rather at people who are, I would say, aged from 18 to 22, 23. They are in their bachelor or master degree sometimes. And then at this point, we look at individuals. So it's no longer a collective approach. Of course, all these students are doing scientific studies. We believe that by addressing the non-member states students, we will prepare the different nations, the different countries to have more scientists and more engineers. So these people will come to CERN for an 8-week summer training. So imagine yourself at CERN in July, August, lots of young people, nice weather, everything is actually present for them to have an unforgettable experience. And what will they do? Well, they will have the possibility to visit CERN, of course, to do experimentation, to do workshop. So there's a little bit of, I would say, hands-on activities, but also intellectual learning. And they will be coached by people from CERN. So I would say the big plus also for this program is to start understanding what being supervised by an engineer or a physicist means. You also have on that screen a few figures about the number of students, the countries, and of course, not only the foundation is financing for this program, because otherwise we wouldn't have enough people and enough students. Sometimes governments also pay, or institutes pay, in order to have their students benefiting from a stay at CERN. Today, we talk about 38% females, but our ambition is, of course, to do a bit more. The following program is not mentioned, it's mentioned, but not on this slide. I will come to it. I can actually make a very short introduction on this on the Science Gateway, which is the beautiful building that you see. It's an iconic building that is inspired by the tubular structure of CERN accelerators. It's a new space for science education and outreach. And I will go into a bit more detail later on in my presentation. Let's take a look at the video.
Non-member state summer student program is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for talented students from across the globe. For 8 weeks, students participate in various activities alongside experienced researchers and scientists at CERN. The summer student program continues to encourage students to step out of their comfort zones and advance their futures in STEM. My dream is to be a Filipino particle physicist.
I want to be a researcher or professor at financial physics and like here. So it's a good opportunity for you to test yourself whether you are ready for this condition, whether you enjoy this career path.
Working with the experts in the field from different parts of the world, it has been so amazing. It is the first opportunity I think I've had of such.
This has been incredible. I mean, probably the best month of my life so far, and everything is shaping up to be important.
I honestly feel at home. So I feel like I belong here. Like I would love to come back here at some point in my life. It's a Tagalog word, kilig. It has no direct translation. It could be a positive feeling, warmth, excitement that you feel if something idealistic happens to you, if like unimaginable happiness suddenly happens to you, and I feel kilig all the time. At one point, I thought I needed to rest, but after coming here, I feel energized. I feel I just need to continue now without stopping and fast resting. So I feel inspired by the experience here.
Extraordinary. Just extraordinary. At this 8 weeks only, actually getting the opportunity to think about myself, about my career path, think about my future really deeply. So I guess I changed my whole life as I can say. Yeah, thanks for the foundation. Thank you.
So the third program that concerns the education pillar is the non-member state PhD studentship scheme. Benita doesn't know it yet for the good reason that it will only start early next year. But this is actually the continuation with a complete review of what it was of what we call the Atlas PhD grant scheme. So this program that is also supported by the foundation gives the opportunity to a limited number of PhD students to come to CERN for a period of 2 years over a period of 3 years of doctorates. Or if the doctorate is longer, at least we finance 2 years. And I'm not able to give you any feedback about this precise scheme, but about the former one. The former one was a total success. You do have some figures at the bottom, and that tells you that the number of students was quite limited, and the ambition of the foundation was to open it to more students per year, and also to open it to more collaborations, not only Atlas. For those of you who are not familiar with CERN, I understand from Rachel and Benedetta that actually some of you may not have been at CERN. We do have 4 collaborations, and Atlas is one of the collaborations. Another program that we do have, so in the educational pillar, is the National Teacher Program. It was felt that, in fact, if we manage to touch the teacher population, we would actually have a far bigger impact than if we touch individuals. So why not expand our, I would say, our action to a population, to a profession that, in fact, is teaching to a number of students. So what do we do with the teachers? They also have courses, and I can tell you this program is super intense. And during that program, they get the latest developments in particle physics and related fields. then what we expect from them, of course, is to be able to upgrade their course and also to bring, maybe to push some of their students to come to CERN on one of our different programs. When they come for a 1 week, and they do have lectures, hands-on activities. We always follow a little bit the same method for all our programs. It's about lectures, it's about hands-on activities, it's about visits, it's about relationship interaction. And again, at the bottom of this slide, you have several impacts, which shows that in fact, when we touch a population of 567 teachers in 1 year, you can imagine the number of students that we touch again. The next one is actually the Sparks program. So Sparks is not an educational program per se, but of course it has that impact. Sparks is a serendipity forum, as it is mentioned. The concept is to have a 2-day event. I mean, there's 1 day for experts and another day for experts, but also open to the public. We started that big initiative 3 years ago, actually, just at the end of the COVID. And the first topic that was looked at was the artificial intelligence, future intelligence, actually. It was really about the fluid analysis and interpretation of the vast amount of data. What do we do with that? So we invited lots of experts, and then they had 1 day working together to come up with solutions, options, what could the future look like. And the next day was about informing the public on what had been discussed on the day before. The second session was about future technology for health. It was really about how health technological developments lead to society, and also, when we say to society, to a healthier individual. I mean, is data enough to become a doctor? Looking at all of these methods, equipment, technologies that exist in the medical domain. And the third edition will be about quantum edition, will be about quantum technology, quantum informatics. That has started this year with a very light opening, and it will actually continue in 25 because we need a bit of time in order to gather more information about this theme. And as you may have heard, CERN has opened the Open Quantum Institute that will provide a solid base for discussion. I think that what is interesting to say about Sparks is it is an improved TED, if you want, in its concept, in the level of probably speakers that are invited, and the depth of the topics that are discussed. Again, you do have some information about its impact, which shows how, I would say, successful it has been. And again, lots of communications on the social media. The CERN Festival program is another way to actually attract a lot of people. For the moment, I've described programs where you know that people like science, are interested in science, and will come to CERN a way or another, or will look at what CERN is doing. But if we want to also maybe inspire people who are not necessarily in a scientific domain, then we needed to find a different way to do it. And the CERN Festival program is probably a wonderful program that is reaching audiences that we could not even think about. And instead of having people coming to CERN, we are going where people are. It's a new initiative that has already been piloted for several years by our colleagues, that is very successful. And that the foundation thought, okay, we don't have yet that type of initiative in our different programs, and we would very much would like to extend our reach by having that type of action. So here you do have a picture of what it looks like. And normally the rhythm is about 3 festivals per year. So these programs do happen, music festivals in different countries. And you can see all of a sudden here by the number of participants that we're no longer talking hundreds, but thousands of participants. the Science Gateway. The Science Gateway is that iconic building which I just described a little bit earlier. It is actually, the vision is actually to have a building that talks about CERN, that is a place for interaction, for exchange. As Renzo Piano said, Renzo Piano being the chief architect of the project, he said, when he designed it, he had in mind to have a place where people meet. Kids, students, adults, teachers, scientists, everybody attracted by the exploration of the universe, from the infinitely vast to the infinitely small. It's a bridge in both a metaphorical and a real sense. So this building is fed by the energy of the sun. You can see it from above on the picture, landed in the middle of a newly ground forest. What you don't see yet on that picture is the look that it has today, because we have prepared that slide some time ago. But at least the best way to really understand what I'm saying is to come. If you come, you will see how beautiful this building is. And also you will understand better its purpose, its goal. So we have just finished to construct it, to build it. It was inaugurated on the 7th of October this year. And this represented the famous 3% fundraising that I mentioned at the very beginning of this talk. So the building has 5 different spaces, pavilions, tubes for the auditorium, for the exhibition, and also an amphitheater for exhibitions and auditorium, and I forgot the shop. I think it's might be the 3rd one. So I can only encourage you to come to the Science Gateway. The second pillar is about innovation and knowledge exchange, as I said. So we have the CERN Technology Impact Fund, which is there to actually bridge the gap. We have made a number of discoveries in the tunnel, and the idea is to extend and make sure that these discoveries are actually applied and deployed in society, through industries, through research. So this is the big goal. The Biodynamo is the project that we do have at the moment in our technology fund. So the Medicis project is, and I will spend maybe a bit more time on this one, is really there because it's a unique facility that is there to produce radionuclides available for medical research. And of course, we do send our radioisotopes to hospital and research centers in Switzerland, Europe, or elsewhere. And the idea is to improve this technology in order to treat cancer in a more precise way. We will welcome next year one new project, which is called TimePix. And I cannot really say too much for the moment because we have not finished the process. And the last pillar is the culture and creativity pillar. So as I said at the very beginning, we are welcoming artists to exchange with our engineers, physicists, and technicians. And through this program, what we really try to have is to create a new vision of what physics can look like for people who are not necessarily scientific people, or scientifically interested people. We do have 3 forms in this program: the residencies, art commissions, exhibitions. For these 3 panels, these 3 different pillars, artists will come to CERN for a few weeks, for a few months. They will exchange, they will visit CERN, and afterwards they will create either a masterpiece or maybe nothing, because there's no necessarily a result that is awaited from this program. What we really want is about sharing, about exchanging. It's about showing what physics can look like for people who are not necessarily scientific people, but who are artists. So that is done through painting, through music, through movies. I mean, all of the different arts are used for this. And you have in that bottom of slide the number of artists that we have welcome in residencies, the number of scientists that have been involved to help and work and discuss with those artists and the artworks. The last slide that I have is about the annual budget in 23. So as you can see, we actually have reached an interesting number. For the foundation, we have broken the fundraising record that was the one of the foundation, the CERN Society Foundation. And by order of importance, we do have this year individuals who come first, companies second, and foundation third. All of these fundraising is there to support the three pillars that are here on the left-hand side of the slide. And our ambition is, of course, to improve, enhance, increase this fundraising total. This being said, Benedetta, I think I am good. Thank you, everybody, for being patient.
You did a great job being on time. Thank you very much, Pascal.
I'm going to stop sharing. I think it's the best.
Yes. So thank you, Pascal. We move on to talking to Andrés Marín, Portuguese, who is actually a direct beneficiary of the CERN Society Foundation, being part of the non-member state summer student program. Certainly my favorite project to work on while at CERN. And he will tell us a little bit about his experience at CERN. Andres is a mechanical and electrical engineer. He's spent his summer of 2018, if I'm not mistaken, at CERN. He comes from Costa Rica. So Andres, please tell us a little bit more about you and your experience at CERN. And I remind everybody, you can put on your questions in the chat, and we will get to them right after.
Thank you very much, Benedetta, for the introduction. Let me share my screen. I have a slide with some pictures I want to share about my experience when I had the chance to be at CERN in 2018. So thank you again for the introduction. As Benedetta said, my name is Andrés Marín. I'm thrilled to share a bit about myself and about my experience. I'm from Costa Rica. I hold the degrees in electrical and mechanical engineering from the University of Costa Rica. And I'm currently working and engaged in the cutting edge in R&D at Intel, focusing specifically on the per-silicon simulations for power and thermal management in my microprocessors. And so, but what I really want to talk about is my experience at CERN. And I can say with 100% confidence that one of the pivotal moments in my journey was my summer stint at CERN in 2018. I had the privilege to work in the magnetic measurements laboratory, which was an incredible enriching experience where I had the opportunity to interact with individuals from diverse nationalities and backgrounds. I also had the amazing opportunity to make very good friends as well. And in the picture, you can see some of them. Sadly, I don't have pictures of everyone, all my friends, but at least I have a taste of it. And wonderful people, amazing professionals, very smart people. So I think it was a privilege for me to work with these people around. I also had the opportunity to transform, to have a transformative experience, not only academically but professionally. And personally, I think this changed my life in many ways, and it expanded my horizons, revealing untapped potential, instilling a passion for exploring deeper the field into physics. And thanks for that. Concurrently, I'm engaging in groundbreaking research in cosmic rays because I'm about to finish my career in physics. A year from now to conclude that. So, in conclusion, my journey from engineering to physics has been incredible, fulfilling, and these experiences have shaped my perspective, allowing me to discover new passions and potentials with myself. I want to take the opportunity to thank the team that organizes this event, first for the invitation, and then for creating these spaces that allowed us to share our experiences with colleagues, and also want to call on you to continue supporting the non-member state programs, because these opportunities change lives. Thank you very much, and this is, I can say it from the bottom of my heart that CERN changed my life, and I want to, I don't know, to support the foundation and everything around it, because it can make magic on people. So thank you very much again.
Thank you, Andres. That's really nice to hear from you, and definitely as I said, it's been one of the best programs for me, because I always got the chance to meet the students that were experiencing this excitement and extreme pride and joy, and they were always very grateful. And so this was certainly the moment when I got to meet the students where everything makes sense for a second, right? The frustrations of your work don't matter anymore, and you know that you've done it for a reason. Thank you very much. And like Andres said, the foundation is enabling these projects that actually have behind dozens of colleagues at CERN that work on the non-member states section, the teacher and student section at CERN. They all work all year round to make this possible. But certainly our donors, the donors of the CERN Society Foundation, are instrumental. So I have a question. I can see people are a bit shy perhaps, and need a little bit of help to get started. So I have some questions to ask both of you, if you'll indulge me. Andres, I'll start with you. You connected in your speech a lot your achievements to your experience at CERN, personal growth, a lot of friendships that you've created at CERN that I imagine and I hope that you keep having in your life. If you were to describe one specific moment where you realized, oh, CERN did it for me, this is when I changed completely into a new chapter of my life, what was it?
Okay, so my expectations when I had the opportunity to go there, first I was like overwhelmed with the a lot of new things, wonderful things, like you don't get to see in your country, in my country, for example. So this opportunity just changed my mind. Like, okay, so I there are things in the world that you can do. You can work on that. You can explore and explode your potential on several things that you didn't even know. So when I start doing the tours in the laboratories and talking to these amazing people from different places doing amazing research, and knowing all the scientists there and all the lectures, so I said, like, okay, so I have more to give, and I have a lot to learn. And that place, the CERN just gave me that expansion of my brain, if I can say that. So definitely, that was the moment. I was an engineer at the moment, and then I say, like, okay, I said I need to pursue my physics dream, and I want to go this path. Of course, I love engineering as well, but in physics I have found new things to explore. So definitely the lectures, the laboratories, the amazing people that inspired me and gave me that piece that was missing to continue growing.
Yeah, that's very nice to hear. Pascal, how do you think the alumni network can help you, the foundation, grow and bring more of these dreams into fruition for people?
Thank you. I would say that probably our first expectations would be to gain more followers, more people interested by our activities. As I said before, fundraising happens. We need to establish a link to prove that we are transparent, that we are doing a serious job. Because we are functioning with CERN, I would say this is not so difficult. And if we can really manage to attract their attention, then of course the second step would be to welcome them as donors. And the beauty is that for most of you, because you're working in science or you're now working in big organizations, big companies, whatever, it would be maybe that you talk, you communicate, you share what we do with CERN in order to maybe welcome your company, your foundation as one of our donors. Because if we want to be known, it's not only through individuals, it's through all different types of profiles, and being individuals, foundations, or corporates. So first step, I would say communication, knowledge sharing, support, psychological support in a way. Second, fundraising that will come together. And if really we manage, be able to have more donors of a different profile.
Thank you. And certainly, let's not forget that the Christmas campaign has started, and it goes in support of the non-member states summer student program for next year. So please feel free to go and check it out online. I know Simona has linked it in the chat, and yes, she's done it again. So go check it out. I'm not there anymore, but as you can see, I'm very enthusiastic about this mission. So Anne-Marie is asking, Pascal, how do you communicate to gain followers?
I would say that everything is good to communicate first. But I would say that through with the social media, we managed to reach out a very wide and broad population. We also have a newsletter, and I can only encourage you to sign up, of course. And last but not least, CERN is a big house. A lot of people are working in CERN, and for me, I do consider that everybody working at CERN would be a fantastic ambassador. So there are different ways to get followers, either I would say the social media, but it's also about talking about what we do. It's about sharing. It's about this presentation that I'm making today, and I'm thanking Rachel and Simona again for giving me that space for discussion, because I think if the more we are known, the more we will get followers, because people can really see what we are doing, and we can measure the impact of our education programs and also about our innovation program. So Anne-Marie, have I answered your question correctly? You can take the mic, you can write in the chat.
Yeah, please feel free to speak up if you want. In the meantime, Pascal, I have another question for you. You presented in your presentation, you had a nice overview of the various projects. Obviously, it was not an exhaustive overview of all the projects that the foundation has in its portfolio now or has had in the past. And you said that you've broken the records of fundraising at its 10th year. That's a pretty good record to break. Not a lot of people, perhaps of the people following us today, not a lot knew that there was a CERN Society Foundation. Perhaps you've encountered some of our programs during your time at CERN. Or perhaps you were not at CERN while the foundation was established. So why do you think there's a need for a foundation. CERN has been supported by member states for many, many years. So where is the need of the foundation today? I know this is a question that a lot of possible donors would ask.
I will come back to Anne-Marie's because I see her comment. But to reply to your question, I would say, CERN, you may not know, so let me just describe very briefly that CERN's budget comes from the member states. We are financed by 23 member states, and we have a number of countries that are in accession, and that takes a few years. So our budget comes from the member states. And the member states are giving money to CERN to do research work, to do particle physics, not to communicate about necessarily what we do, and not to ensure that what we do at CERN has an impact. So creating a foundation was an extremely clever and smart way to manage to transform what is done at CERN for the benefit of society. That's why I was saying at the beginning of my presentation, a bridge. CERN is doing particle physics research work. That's really solid work. But if we want society to understand what we do, if we want society to understand that every day science is in their house, is in their way of moving, is in their daily life, we need to communicate about what we do in particle physics. And as we would not find any money to do it from the member states, because that does not meet the criteria for a member state to become, I would say, a member state, then it was decided to create this foundation. And the foundation has, the right, the obligation to search for money outside in a different context. So I would say the foundation is like the philanthropic arm of CERN. CERN is doing the hard stuff, and we are communicating, bridging with society, and maybe making people understand that science is there every day, so that they feel like pushing for science, supporting science even more. And given the geopolitical context, given the speed at which technology is moving ahead, that's really the right way to go.
Thank you very much. So I'm taking a question for Andres, and then I go to Michele Barone, who wants to speak. So Andres, if you had the 10-second elevator ride with Bill Gates, how would you convince him to donate to the foundation, considering your experience?
That one is tough, but definitely if I only have 10 seconds, I would say if you want to help the world, give money to science and science in the third world, because there are a lot of scientists in places that don't have the opportunities. So I think fund science. So yeah, that one was a tough question because I was not expecting that. But yeah.
No, but you did well. Fund science through the CERN Society Foundation then. Thank you. So Michele, you want to?
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I just would like to connect to the question. You have a last question that you have put to Pascal concerning what can be done in order to increase the number of donors to the foundation. I think that one thing that could be the following. Among the aim of the CERN and Society Foundation, when Pascal has spoken concerning the innovation for technology, had to be stressed that one aspect of the CERN of scientific education is the critical thinking. The critical thinking is the base of the personality of the physicist. We just a few weeks ago, we have celebrated 50 years of the discovery of neutral currents, which were not believed to exist at all. It is thanks to the critical thinking that the Gargamel collaboration spent a lot of effort to make this discovery, which was the foundation of the standard model, on which actually the particle physics is stand. So I think that the critical thinking should be also stressed among the aim of the society. Thank you.
Thank you, Michele. I think it's Michele. You do have a point, and I'm going to keep that. I will make the best of it, because it's true. We know that we are doing something good, but I mean, that element, that component, is maybe not enough put forward. So thank you very much. Excellent.
Pascal, sorry, there is no innovation without critical thinking.
No, I agree.
Thank you.
And we certainly need more and more of this nowadays, where philosophy and mathematics can really collide into making a person a better thinker, a better citizen of the world. I take the last question from Trivana. So the LHC experiment as an example of outreach programs, which also strive to explain the reason and science of their work. Can you please explain the synergy that is being exploited? So Pascal, I think this is for you. How do you collaborate with the other LHC experiments, outreach programs?
It's a good question. I don't think we do exchange. For instance, for the PhD, the NMS PhD studentship, it was, I think, the first time that the foundation was going to the LHC experiments, to the 4 LHC experiments, to say, look, we want to do something with you. And what we propose is to create a PhD so that each of the experiment could benefit from one. It's good. I'm sure it's going to be a success. What I would say, for the moment, we have not really made other efforts. I think we are fighting in order to be more visible inside of CERN. And as you know, CERN is a big place, not only in terms of number of people, but it's also a big place in terms of geographical location. And the foundation is in a place, and I would say that unless I'm given that such an opportunity to speak about the foundation, we have to really make special efforts. So to reply to your question, outreach programs to the LHC, not that I know of. I know that one experiment has contacted me, but let's not forget that all the outreach programs that we do support have to be sponsored by a CERN department. We cannot just sponsor or help the different experiments, outreach programs in experiments. They have to be sponsored. So I do get quite a few requests from different experiments. I've only been able to put in place one, but otherwise we also have our constraints. First, because our capacity to do fundraising is limited. I have a very small team, and we are working long hours, I would say, to get what we want. And our first priority is to serve the programs that have been endorsed by the foundation board. And it's only in that context that we can operate.
Thank you, Pascal. And if I'm not mistaken, the festival program comes out of an outreach program of the Atlas experiment, right? So that was you were able to embed it into the general foundation program.
Yes, but when it was presented, it came from the Atlas in a way, because the person who actually initiated this program was partly working there. But when it was endorsed by the foundation board, it was really presented as a program, not from a collaboration, but for the benefit of society.
Of course.
By CERN.
Of course, it just was sprouted at Atlas to begin with.
Yes.
But this is a good opportunity if you know anyone in the experiments that would like to reach out to Pascal. There's always other ways that we can explore, that you can explore synergies. It doesn't have necessarily to be through fundraising. We are out of time. Unless someone else has a last minute question, I will bring it over to you, Rachel. Thank you very much for the very interesting discussion. I hope this was informative and interesting for you to learn about, and thank you and good luck to the CERN Society Foundation for the next year.
Thank you so much. I was actually going to ask you, Pascal, because you're celebrating your 10th anniversary. You don't have to answer now. And I was going to ask you what your hopes are for the foundation for the next 10 years. But that's something maybe we can talk about later.
I can just say in 2 words, expand the pool of donors and break again the fundraising level. I mean, quick and celebrate 10 years of existence, because I think we have done an incredible job over the last 10 years. Done.
Perfect. That's a perfect, fantastic answer. So maybe we can all contribute to that.
Oh, please
so
do.
I wanted to say thank you so much for your fascinating overview of the multifaceted and invaluable work that you carry out for the CERN Society Foundation. Andres, your testimony is a really brilliant and heartwarming example of the life-changing benefits of such an experience doing the non-member state summer student program. And Benedetta, you did a sterling job as our facilitator today.
Yes.
And your passion and your enthusiasm for the foundation is really palpable. Don't hesitate to sign up for the CERN Society newsletter, become a follower, and then why not make a donation?